Okay, welcome back to the uh, PCS class. Okay, so today we'll discuss about AM envelope detector. Okay, so it is visible now. My PPT is visible. Yes, I'm asking you people only. My PPT, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so till others join. So let me discuss about the previous class quiz. So somebody was asking some doubt. I think now you people can ask what is that doubt you are facing while taking the quiz. Yes, quickly. I will spend 1 or 2 minutes. Still, you have not known the score, na? Are you aware of your score?
No, sir.
No, no. Fine. I will release that. I will release. Fine. Let me not. If you don't have any questions to ask about that quiz, then let me just have a recap of what I have discussed in the previous class. Okay. Manoj. Manoj. See, I will call only once. If you don't respond, then I will put absent. Okay. I don't want to call again and again. Only once I will call. Fine. I called twice. Manoj is not responding means he is just logged in. That's all. And he is not here. Okay. What about Manjunath?
Sir, ಇದೀನಿ ಸರ್.
ಇದೀರಲ್ವಾ? ಓಕೆ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು
Hello.
ಮೈಕ್ ನಾಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್? ಯಾಕೆ? ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ದಿ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್ AM ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್?
Efficiency, it is a ratio of carrier power of the carrier wave to the total power.
No, I'm very sorry. It is not the ratio of carrier power to the total power. Something else is there in the numerator. See, efficiency means what? Output by input, na? Right? What is output? Where the information resides in the amplitude modulated signal. See, information resides in the side bands. That is why I take what is the power in the side bands, okay, to the total power in the AM wave. Right? That is what the efficiency is. So it is a ratio of what? Power in the side bands to the total power of the
Power.
AM modulated wave. Okay, for sinusoidal message signal, it will be equal to what? Karunya, can you say? If I take m of t is a sinusoidal signal, okay, with that, what will be the expression for efficiency of a AM system? Sorry, I don't want to hear no mic. Everything should be pakka because I want to have an interactive class, not just saying that, okay? So it should be made ready. Anand?
Sir, mu square plus 2, mu square by 2 plus mu square.
Yeah, mu squared divided by 2 plus mu square is the expression for efficiency of an AM system when we consider message signal is an what? Sinusoidal signal, right? Okay. Okay. Just I will. Yes, now my PPT is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in the last class, what I've discussed is we can express the modulation index, okay, in terms of the maximum and minimum amplitude of the envelope of the amplitude modulated signal. So with that, I have written this expression. What is that? What is that I have written? This one, mu is equal to, right, A max minus A minimum divided by A max plus A minimum. Okay, this is the other way of expressing the modulation index from the waveform, isn't it? Earlier to that, I have said mu is equal to Ka into what? AM for sinusoidal message signal, where Ka is the sensitivity and AM is the amplitude of the message signal, right? So even we can express the modulation index in terms of maximum and minimum amplitude of the envelope of the amplitude modulated signal. Fine. Then I said this is the expression for AM modulated signal in the time domain, right? And the total power of the AM signal will be what? The carrier power, right? The first term is the carrier power, that is 1 by 2 A square C. And the second term is the what? Carrier modulated by the message signal power it is, right? Isn't it? Carrier is modulated by a message signal. So the power of that will be this one, 1 by 2 K squared A square C into PM. So from this, I have written the expression for efficiency, right? So efficiency denoted by a Greek letter eta, which is equal to what? The power in the side bands to the total power of the AM signal. So after simplification, I have written here final expression, okay, which is equal to what? K squared A PM divided by 1 plus K squared A into PM. So this is the expression for efficiency of a AM system. When I consider the message signal as sinusoidal, this one, then I get the expression for efficiency as what? This one, eta is equal to mu squared divided by 2 plus mu squared. And we know what is this mu? Mu is the modulation index, right? And the maximum value of efficiency we get when the value of modulation index is 1, right? There is a maximum efficiency we say. So when I substitute mu is equal to 1 in this expression, I get eta maximum, okay? That is the maximum efficiency is equal to 1 by 3, okay? We say it is 33%, okay? So this is the maximum efficiency of the AM system, right? When mu is equal to 1, we say when mu is 1, there will be no envelope distortion, isn't it? And when mu is equal to 0.5, what happens if I substitute the value of mu as 0.5? What will be the maximum efficiency I can get? What is the efficiency value I can get? I cannot say it is a maximum. Yeah, with respect to mu is equal to 0.5, the value of efficiency is how much? Anyone can say quickly, substitute mu as 0.5.
1 by 9.
It is 1 by 9, right? So which one is greater? 1 by 9 is greater, 1 by 3 is greater.
1 by 3, sir.
1 by 3, right? So what we can say, as the value of mu increases, right, the efficiency increases, right? When mu is 0.5, I am getting efficiency as 1 by 9. So 1 by 9 is approximately is how much? It is 11 point something, 11% I can say.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when mu is equal to 1, I will be able to get 33%, right? So with respect to that, I said as the value of mu increases, right, as the value of modulation index increases, the efficiency of the AM system also increases. What is the maximum value I can give? It is 1, right? Modulation index will be 1. If it is more than 1, then it leads to distortion. That is why when mu is equal to 1, I say the efficiency, that is the maximum efficiency of the AM system, will be 33%. Okay, this is what we have discussed in the previous class. So remaining 67%, it will be there with the carrier. So which is carrier does not carry any information, right? So we can think of either minimizing the power or we can suppress that carrier. That is why I said the next will be the double sideband suppressed carrier modulation. So before I go to that, I need to discuss about the generation and as well as the detection of AM wave. So before I start discussing about the generation, let me continue with the detection. Okay. So this is a simple diagram which I would like to show about modulation and demodulation process, right? So this is my message signal, right? We say that as baseband signal or modulating signal, right, with frequency FM, that will be given to the modulator. So this is my amplitude modulator. So I get amplitude modulated signal as the output of this modulator that will be transmitted over the channel. Okay, fine. Then at the receiver side, we call that as a demodulator. No? So this demodulator will detect the envelope of this modulated signal. Then I will get back this original message signal at the receiver side. Okay, this we call sink and source. That is not an issue. So just this picture should be there in your mind as an overall AM modulator and demodulator system. Okay, is it clear? I'm asking, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So input is a message signal, output also should be a message signal, right? That is what I get in between the processing will happen. What is the processing? I do modulation, transmit over the channel. Again, I do the demodulation to get back the original message signal. Okay, to do this process with the receiver side, so there are different circuits. In that, we will be discussing one type, that is an envelope detector. Okay, so this is the envelope detector circuit. So input to this circuit is what? EM, right? Which I represent by S of T, even with the diagram also I have shown. So what is this envelope detector circuit? Consists of, it has a diode, okay, and this part is the filter. It is the written, right? Diode, and that forms the half-wave rectification section. Then this capacitor and filter forms the low-pass filter section, we say. So output will be what? The envelope of this modulated signal. Okay. Why it is called envelope detector? Yeah.
Is this a demodulator?
Yeah, it is a demodulator circuit only.
Okay.
I am discussing about the demodulator. I will come back to the modulator. Okay. Because we have discussed the envelope and all things. Now, with that, I am continuing with the demodulator circuit first. So, okay. Yeah. So we call this as envelope, no? Whatever I am showing with the cursor, right? This is the envelope, right? Which is represented by what equation? That is AC of 1 plus K M of T, right? Yes or no? I hope you are able to see now my cursor movement. Are you able to see my cursor movement?
Yes, sir.
This one, I am saying is an envelope, right? Similarly, this also. Written two circuits just to say it consists of what. So it has diode and then a low pass filter. Okay. So how does it works? You already aware of a rectifier circuit, no? Half-wave rectifier, isn't it? Yes or no? Are you aware of half-wave rectifier circuit? How does it works? Yeah. There we give sinusoidal signal. Here we are giving AM as the input to this circuit, right? So what happens when if I take this is the AM input signal, no? Which is less than or okay. To start with, why it is called envelope detector is, see, it will detect the envelope of the modulated signal, right? So this is the envelope of the modulated signal we say, no? So it will detect or it will track the envelope of the modulated signal. That is why it is called envelope detector. Okay. So here I am applying this AM signal as input to this circuit, right? So when the magnitude of this input voltage is greater than the cut-in voltage of the diode, or the voltage at this point, I can say across the capacitor, then what happens? The diode is forward bias, right? So when the diode is forward bias, what happens? The capacitor quickly charges to the peak voltage, right? So that is what is written here, that the capacitor quickly charges to the peak voltage, right? Then when the voltage at the anode of a diode is less than the voltage at the cathode of a diode, what happens? The diode gets reverse bias, right? Yes or no? In that case, now the path for the capacitor is it can discharge through the resistor, right? Yes or no? So because this is open, if I consider diode is ideal, when it is off, it acts as an open switch, right? So now there is no path, so it can only discharge through this resistor. Okay, so it starts discharging. So this charging, discharging happens at this time. So with that, I can say it will track the peak of the carrier signal. So that peak of the carrier signal is nothing but what? Envelope of the amplitude modulated signal. Okay, so here at what rate it should charge and at what rate it should discharge. Okay, charging rate and discharging rate is very, very important here. Okay, if it charges, means we call that by a constant called tau. Okay, tau is the charging time constant, which is equal to this R into C, we say. Okay, so the first thing is the picture of understanding about the working of this circuit should be clear. It is a very simple half-wave rectifier circuit, I can say, because the diode is there, one diode. Okay, it will take only the positive, this one, positive part of the AM signal, right? Yes or no? So when the input voltage is greater than the voltage across the capacitor, the diode gets forward bias, right? When the diode is forward bias, we say that it is conducting, right? So now the capacitor charges to the peak voltage. So capacitor charges to the peak voltage, right? Next, when the voltage at the anode of the diode goes below the level of the voltage across the capacitor, then what happens? The diode gets reverse bias. Right? When the diode is reverse bias, it acts as an open switch. Now, for the capacitor, the only path is to discharge through the resistor, to the load resistor, right? So it starts discharging to the load resistor. So the charging, discharging, charging, discharging happens. So this charging, discharging, okay, to be such that it should track the envelope of this AM modulated signal, right? If it is charging too fast, what happens? If it is discharging too fast, what happens? So those are the two cases which we need to consider here. Okay, so based on that, we have to say what is the appropriate value of this R and C, that is the charging and discharging time constant. Okay, so why it is called envelope detector? Because it tracks the envelope of the AM modulated signal. That is why it is called envelope detector. So is it understood about this circuit? What I said, very, very simple circuit. Okay. Is it clear or you want me to repeat once again? So you should know when diode will conduct, when diode will not conduct. Yeah. Somebody is asking something.
Can you repeat again, sir?
Yeah, see, it is very simple to understand. See, diode is connected in this direction, no? Right? When the input voltage to the diode, right, is greater than the voltage at the, or voltage across the capacitor, or we can say voltage at the cathode of a diode also. Same thing, no? Voltage across capacitor is nothing but voltage at the cathode of a diode, right? So when this value of AM signal, input signal, no, is greater than voltage at the cathode of a diode, what happens? The diode is getting forward bias, right? When it is forward bias, it is conducting, no? And if we assume the diode is an ideal one, so it acts as a short circuit, right? So when it is conducting, then what happens? I will show you this. Yeah. So when the diode is conducting, okay, what happens? Now the capacitor charges to the peak voltage, I said. So capacitor charges to the peak voltage. So I think at this point I can say, or with respect to this, okay, the capacitor charges the peak voltage. Then when the voltage at the anode of a diode is less than the voltage across the capacitor, you can represent this as VC, voltage across the capacitor as VC. Okay, when it is less than, means when the input voltage is less than the voltage across the capacitor VC, what happens? The diode is getting reverse bias. So when the diode is getting reverse bias, what happens? It won't conduct, right? It won't conduct. It acts as a open circuit. Now the capacitor starts discharging through this load resistor. Okay, capacitor starts discharging through load resistor. So it will discharge. Again, what happens? Voltage at this point goes below the voltage at this point. Okay. Again, when the voltage at the anode of a diode is more than the voltage at the cathode of a diode, what happens? The diode gets forward bias, again starts conducting. Right? When it is conducting, so the capacitor starts charging again towards the peak voltage. Okay. So this charging, discharging, charging, discharging, and so that will follow the or track the envelope of the modulated signal. So this envelope is nothing but what? My message signal, isn't it? That already we have understood, envelope of this one, right? Because it contains the message information about the message signal, right? So that is what we wanted to track this one. Is it clear? I will
Yes.
take another circuit. Yeah, to just understand much more better, some more information is written. Why? See, detection means what? It will detect the envelope of the transmitted signal. Okay, why I would like to detect the envelope of the transmitted signal? I would like to recover the message signal. That is why I am going to detect the envelope of the modulated signal. Right? So when it can detect, only it works when there is no envelope distortion. Okay, when there is no envelope distortion, then the detection of the envelope of the modulated signal will be proper. So that when it can happen, only when the modulation index is less than 1, right? So just I have written here the amplitude modulated signal, and I am saying this is the what? Envelope, right? This waveform what I have shown is envelope. That is represented by what equation? 1 plus Km of t into AC. Right? And this one is modulated carrier. That is my input voltage, right? Overall, it is an AM signal, right? That will be the input to this circuit. So here I have drawn the circuit of envelope detector. What is that? AM source, diode, capacitor, and resistor, right? So here it is written, this charging and discharging of this voltage, right? That will track the envelope of the AM signal. Okay, just I have written here what is the expression for AM and all. Fine. So I will come back to this how, and I said it is very simple circuit, right? Because it has only diode, capacitor, and resistor, right? So the complexity of this circuit is very low, and it is a low cost also. Hence, this circuit is suited for low cost receivers, which are used in the most of the broadcasting applications like TVs, radio receivers, and so on. So that is what the application of this envelope detector. Okay. Okay, here whatever I could say in words is written in paragraphs. You can just have a read about this. What I said, it consists of, this circuit consists of what? Diode, right? RC circuit, which is nothing but a low pass filter, right? Then what I said, during positive half cycle of the input signal, right? So diode will conduct, diode will be conducting, and the capacitor charges to the peak voltage of the input signal, fine. Then when the input falls, right, when the input falls below the voltage on the capacitor, means whatever the voltage is there across the capacitor, if the input falls below that voltage, then what happens? The diode becomes reverse bias, and when it is reverse bias, it will be, means the input will be disconnected from the output what we said, right? Now the path for the capacitor is it can discharge only through this load resistor. Okay, that is why it starts discharging through this load resistor. That is why it is written here. So capacitor starts discharging slowly through this load resistor, right? Again on the next cycle, what happens? The input at the anode of a diode will be greater than the voltage at the cathode of a diode. So with that, the diode becomes forward bias. Again, it starts conducting. So now again, the capacitor starts charging towards the peak voltage. Okay, this is how it works. So here it is written with very clearly how does it tracks the envelope of the signal. Okay. So this is circuit. I need not again tell. See, I written a detect condition, right? When this is V in, when V in is greater than, I have taken V naught as the output across the capacitor, right? So diode will be forward bias, right? When V in is less than V naught, then diode will be reverse bias, right? So how does it tracks the peak of the carrier or envelope of the amplitude modulated signal? So here clearly the waveform is written, shown with how does it charges to the peak voltage, again discharges, charges, discharges, charges, and discharging. Okay, is it clear, this picture? I am asking, is it clear? See, I am showing here charging, discharging, charging, discharging, right? Is this picture is clear? So this is envelope of the modulated signal, I said. Fine. Yes, any doubts you have, you can ask me. Only two cases, when V in is greater than V naught. Okay, when V in is greater than V naught, diode is forward bias, capacitor charges towards the peak voltage. Right? When V in is less than V naught, then diode will be reverse bias. During that time, the capacitor starts discharging through the load resistor. So it will be charging towards the peak voltage and discharges, charging towards peak voltage and discharging. So as I said here, at what rate, okay, the capacitor should discharge through the load resistor, or at what rate the capacitor should charge, so that it can track the envelope of the modulated signal. That will be our message signal, right? So we need to decide about what should be the timing constant, charging timing constant. So which we represent as tau, so which is equal to load resistor into capacitor. Okay. Yes, you are all with me, what I am saying. So the charging time constant is denoted by what? Tau, which is equal to what? The value of load resistance into the value of capacitor, right? So the time constant for discharge of the capacitor, this one, right? Tau is equal to RC, we say. So we need to choose the value of this tau, okay, appropriately, so that it can track the envelope of the modulated signal. So now let us consider if this discharging time, okay, if it discharges slowly, what happens? If the capacitor discharges to the load resistance slowly, do you think that it will be able to track the envelope of the modulated signal or envelope of the AM signal? If it is too slow, see here shown I have written, right? If it is discharging slowly, it may not be able to track the envelope of the signal. Okay, it is going like this if it is too slow. Okay, and if it is very large also, okay, during that time also it will fail to track the envelope of the modulated signal. So these are the two cases. When it is too low also, means if it starts discharging slowly, it will not be able to track the envelope of the signal. Okay, if it is too large also, okay, when it is too large also, it will fails to track the envelope of the signal. So that is why the time constant, okay, should be much less than the time period of the message signal. Are you understanding what I am saying? Why it fails to track the envelope of the signal when it is discharging slowly? Anybody have the answer? See, this is the what here I have written. No, this is the what? This is the envelope, right? This is the envelope, right? What I have written. See, if this time period, okay, is much greater than the discharging time constant, right? What happens during that time? See, you need to track somebody, right? Right. When you want to track somebody, your speed also should match with the speed of the fellow you wanted to track, right? If you are running at very slow rate, if the another fellow is running at a very fast rate, then is it possible to track that fellow? No answer. I don't know. I think yeah, I think okay. Nobody is responding. Why you not able to catch up what I'm saying? Yes, somebody should say no, yes or no. I can repeat. If you are able to understand, I can go ahead. Otherwise, I can say once again. I'm asking that.
Understood.
So the last part was a little unclear.
See, already this concept has been studied at so many places. First semester, filter circuit you have studied, right? How does means half wave rectifier you have studied, right? With filter also you have studied, without filter also you have studied. That thing only I'm using here, that concept. If you have understood that concept there, easily you will be able to replicate or recall the concept of tracking of the envelope of the signal will become easy. That only is there, circuit, right? When diode is there, then filter circuit is there. Yes or no? Whatever you have studied in your, what I can say, yeah, do you think that the circuit is new circuit for you people? Half wave rectifier, right, with filter circuit only it is. Only what I am saying is here I am not feeding the input from the what? I am not feeding input from the transformer. I am feeding input from the signal generator. I am assuming that this AM signal will be generated from the signal generator. See, we have seen the signal generator in the laboratory, right? We'll be able to get sinusoidal signal, carrier signal, even all these AM, FM signals also will be able to get from the signal generator. So I am feeding that from the signal generator. And the rest of the circuit is same as that of half wave rectifier with filter circuit. Only we are calling here with a different name. That is, diode is there, that we say is a half wave rectifier section, and this is the low pass filter section. Yeah, Leah, you are asking something. Leah?
No, so the question you asked that I wasn't very clear, sir. In the
No,
end about the capacitor.
yeah. Yeah, anybody else? Any doubts? Yes, don't have any doubt. Shall I go to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
See, if you don't say yes, sir, then what I should understand? If nobody responds, right? I hope this picture is clear. I have written AM signal. I said this is the envelope of the modulated signal, which I represent as what? 1 plus K M of into AC, right? So what is the purpose of detector? I wanted to detect the envelope of the transmitted signal to recover message signal, right? So this can work only when the modulation index is less than 1, right? There will be no envelope distortion. In that case, I will be able to get back the message signal properly, right? If mu is greater than 1, I said it leads to distortion. So with that, I have written this is the circuit diagram of the envelope detector, right? So this is AM source. I am feeding that as input to this circuit. So this is a diode, then capacitor filter is there. So how does it works? When input voltage, that is AM signal, right, is greater than the voltage across the load resistor, or because these two elements are in parallel, either I can say voltage across the capacitor or voltage across the load is same, right? So when Vin is greater than V0, then the diode is forward bias. Okay, so during that time, what happens? The capacitor means when the diode is forward bias, it acts as a closed switch. So now the capacitor starts charging towards the peak voltage. It can start from this point. It starts towards the peak voltage. Right. Again, next what happens when the AM wave is less than, means Vin is less than V0, what we say. Right. During that time, what happens? The diode becomes reverse bias. When the diode is reverse bias, it acts as an open switch. Right. Now, the path for the capacitor is only it can discharge through this load resistor. Right. Now, so it starts discharging towards it discharges to the load resistor. So this is the discharging point. From peak to this point it reaches, right? Again, now what happens? Now, when it reaches this point, right? So the input at the diode will be more than the V0. Then again, the diode starts conducting because it gets forward bias. Now again, the capacitor starts charging towards the peak voltage, right? Right. Again, when it reaches the peak voltage, now the input goes below the peak voltage, so diode becomes reverse bias. Now again, the capacitor starts discharging through the load. So that discharging path I have shown here. So that charging, discharging, that continues, right? So in this case, what I have shown here, discharging, discharging, right? When we look at this charging, discharging, it tracks the peak of the carrier signal. right? So which is almost similar to the this envelope of the signal, right? So which is same as message signal, I said. Okay. So now, if the capacitor charges to the peak voltage, right, it is fine. Then when the diode is reverse bias, I said it will be discharging through the load resistor, right? So this charging discharging time constant plays an important role in tracking the envelope of the modulated signal, I said. Okay, so if the discharging time, okay, if the discharging time is too slow, okay, if it discharges very slowly, then what happens? It may not track the envelope of the signal. Okay, so it fails to track the envelope of the signal if the discharging time constant is slow. If it discharges slow, means if the discharging time constant is less than what the time period of the message signal, means this is the envelope, right? If that is what is written here. So we write that the discharging time constant by RL into C. Okay, and if the time constant is very large also, if it is very large also, it fails to track the envelope of the AM signal. Why it fails to track the envelope of the message signal when it is large or when it is small? If the capacitor discharges slowly, I said for that case also it will fail to track the envelope, right? If the time constant R into C is very large, okay, that is what we say, no? If it is very large only, it will be discharging slowly, right? Then we say it will fail to track the envelope of the signal. And I given an example. Assume that two people are in the racing. Okay, one fellow runs very fast. Okay, another fellow has to follow that fellow. Right? If the second fellow is running at a very slow speed, do you think that he will be able to follow another fellow? No. If he also runs at least approximately near to that fellow, then we say, okay, he is following. Right? So for that, what we are saying, the time constant, okay, should be much less than, okay, the time period of the message signal, or we say it is 1 by FM, where FM is the maximum frequency of the message signal. Okay, if this RLC, okay, is less than, right, is less than the time period of this message signal or time period of this envelope, then we can say it will follow the envelope of this modulated signal. I hope I could convince. I don't know, still nobody is responding, nobody asking any doubts. At least, are you able to understand what I am saying, this charging, discharging part? Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
I will go to the next one. It is there. If yeah, there is the first case. Okay. So here I have taken two cases. One is if RC is too large, what happens? If RC is too small, what happens? Okay. So as I said, in the envelope detector, choosing the time constant plays an important role in detecting the envelope of the modulated signal. Okay. So if RC is too large, what happens? The discharging of the capacitor is too slow, right? And again, output will not follow the envelope. That is what I have shown in the previous slide. Okay. So if RC is too small, what happens? The output of the filter falls very fast. Okay. Then it will follow, right, after each peak and will not follow the envelope closely. So this is the case when RC is too small. Means it will start following the carrier. See here, it is following, it's charging and again falling, again charging, right? So it is almost following the carrier, this one, if the RC is too small. Okay. So I hope you could understand between these two diagrams. When it is too large, means RC is too large means what? It discharges slowly. Okay. During that time, it cannot follow or it cannot track the envelope of the signal. Right. So till this point it is tracking, but here, see, this is envelope of the signal, right? But it is not tracking this one, so it is coming like this because the RC is too large, means it discharges very slowly. So when it is discharging very slowly, before it reaches another point, next cycle will come out. That is why it will not be able to track this signal. Okay, instead of tracking this, it will be going like this. Okay, so when it is too small, what happens? When RC is too small and this one is large, so it will be following the peak of the carrier signal, right? So it will follow the carrier frequency, this one. So now also, by looking at this, we'll be able to say it is not following the envelope of the signal. Right? This is my envelope, right? It is not. So that is why for good performance, okay, the envelope detector, okay, the value of RC should be what? It should be much less than, this is 1 by W. W is nothing but the highest frequency of the message signal. So the value of RC is, I said it is a time constant. Now, this should be much less than the time period of the message signal. Okay, and it should be much greater than the time period of the carrier signal. 1 by FC, right? FC is the carrier frequency. So 1 by FC is the carrier period, right? So this is the condition to have proper, okay, envelope detection of the amplitude modulated signal. Okay, so the time constant should be what? That RL into C, it should be less than, much less than the time period of the message signal, right? And it should be much greater than the time period of the carrier signal. Then it is possible to track the envelope of the modulated signal. So that will give you the proper message signal at the receiver side. Yeah, whatever I could say here, when RC is too small, no? How does it tracks, right? If means the RC is too small, means what? RC is time constant. Now, when that is too small, so the capacitor discharges quickly. When it is discharging quickly, it will follow the carrier only. Okay, it won't carry the envelope. That is why we are unable to get back the demodulated signal at the receiver side. Okay, so the output of the capacitor will track the what? Carrier and not the envelope. Yes, this point is clear. So two cases, when RC is too large, what happens? When RC is too small, what happens? When RC is too large, what happens? During that time also, it will not track the envelope of the signal. Right? When RC is too small also, it will not track the envelope of the message signal. Okay, when RC is too small, it will track the what? Carrier signal, right? It will track the carrier signal, but that is not our aim, right? It should track the envelope of the signal, right? So choosing the appropriate value of the time constant plays an important role in the working of the proper working of the envelope detector circuit. That is why I said, yeah, this is one more waveform which has shown that thing. When RC is too large, what happens? Right? So it will not follow the, or it will not be able to track this envelope. Right? Clear? Yes, this picture is clear. So one I have shown which is following the proper value of RC. Okay, when the value of RC is proper, then it will track the envelope of the modulated signal. This case, right? When RC is too large, it will not track it will not follow or track the envelope of this one. Right? When RC is too small, also, when it is too small, it will follow the carrier. So these two cases. Yeah, I think. Yeah, two cases, right? When RC is too small, when RC is too large, what happens, I said. So finally, the takeaway is what? The time constant. In a different way, we can say. So I will tell about this, right? How is the time constant, right? It should be much less than what I said, the time period of the message signal. And it should be much greater than the time period of the carrier signal. Okay. Any doubts? So here, four things I've said. One is the time constant should be much greater than the time period of the carrier signal. So why it should be much greater than time period of a carrier signal? So that output will be able to track the envelope rather than the carrier signal, right? Yes or no? Because and we know the carrier frequency will be much greater than the message signal frequency, no? So in other way, we can say 1 by FM will be much greater than 1 by FC. Means the time period of the message signal will be much greater than the time period of the carrier signal. In terms of time period, if you want to say. In terms of frequency to say, we say the frequency of the carrier will be much greater than the frequency of the message signal. So ultimately, we need to follow this to get the proper working or good performance of the envelope detector. What is that? The time constant, that is tau, which is I say RL into C, should be much less than the time period of the message signal and it should be much greater than the time period of the carrier signal. Right? So this is the waveform which we have shown at each stage. Okay, AM wave is input to the rectifier. So because only I'm using one layer now, it will clip off the negative cycle, right? Only positive this one I get. Then that will be applied to the that is a filter. So this filter will remove this high frequency signal. It will return only the low frequency signal since it's a low pass filter. Okay. Yes, any doubts related to this envelope detector?
No, sir.
Is it clear? Whatever I said? Yes, take time because deciding about the value of the time constant, you need to visualize when it is large what happens, when it is small what happens. And the time constant should be, why it should be much greater than the time period of the message signal and why it should be much less than the time period of the carrier signal. These three things should be very clear. So anyone can say from your side, whatever I said, is it possible to summarize for proper working of envelope detector? How does it should be? Just quickly. Yeah, I started with this, right? By showing at AM modulation, demodulation. Yes, anyone can summarize. That's what is your understanding. So you want me to specify name? Okay, let me ask some people, specific people. Yes, Manish. Manish is there. Rohit Joshi. Rohit Joshi. Yes, Manoj. I will put absent if you don't respond. Just I can call only once. Okay. Whoever is interacting, no, only those people are interacting. What about others just logging in and simply sitting idle will not work. Yes, Siddharth. I think I've called you some 2-3 classes. You are not responding. Siddharth.
Yes, sir.
Can you say a few words about this envelope detector? What you have understood?
So when the diode is forward biased
Ah,
and we'll apply signal, then it will charge capacitor
yeah.
because it will act as a short circuit.
Yeah.
And when it is reverse bias means the
No, when it will be get reverse bias.
so
That
when
point also you
the
should tell, na?
capacitor voltage is greater than that input voltage.
Yeah, when the voltage across the capacitor is greater than voltage at the
Input of the
anode of a
diode.
diode, right?
Yes, sir.
Then the diode gets reverse bias. So now what is the path for the capacitor? It can
Then
only
it
discharge through the load resistor,
yes,
right?
sir.
That is why it starts discharging. Okay. Then can you tell just about the time constant, what it should be? If it is too large, what happens? If it is too small, what happens? And what is the appropriate value of the time constant? So there is a condition I said, na? It should be less than this and it should be greater than this. Then only it can track the envelope of the modulated signal. That is very, very important point which you need to understand. See, if it discharges slowly, what happens? It cannot track the envelope of the signal, right? So for that, the time constant should be what? It should be less than the time period of the message signal. That's the first condition. Okay. If the time constant is less than the time period of the message signal, then it will be able to track the envelope. What is another condition?
So it should be greater than the time period of carrier signal.
Yeah, it should be greater than the time period of the carrier signal, right? So that is the condition for the proper working of the envelope detector circuit. Means D will be able to get the proper demodulated signal. Okay, Tipana.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you just say the condition, man?
Condition, sir.
Yeah, for proper working of the envelope detector, what should be the value of RC, the time constant?
Sir, it should be greater than 1 by FC and it should be very, very less than FM, sir.
RC
1 by
should
FM.
be greater than
1 by FC. Carrier frequency.
no.
Sir, it should be greater than 1 by FC, sir. And it should be
Should be
less
greater than 1 by FC. And then it should be
less
what is
than
another
1
one?
by. It should be less than 1 by FM, sir. It should be less than
Yeah,
message
1 by
signal.
FM means what? It is nothing but time period of the message signal.
Message signal.
Yeah, the time constant RC should be less than the time period of the message signal, and it should be greater than the time period of the
Carrier
carrier
frequency.
signal. So that is the takeaway. Okay. So let me show some demonstration of this AM. Okay, by varying the value of modulation index, how does it varies and how the efficiency changes. Okay, by using some animation. Yeah, are you able to see this? Analog modulation is there, no? Are you able to see this screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here there is an option, okay, for varying the value of modulation index. Okay. So as of now, I set modulation index as 0.5. So with that, this is the time domain representation of the amplitude modulated signal. Okay, and this one is the frequency domain representation of that. Okay, so I can vary this, the modulation index. Okay, are you able to see that change? I will first keep very less than. See now what is the modulation index? I kept only it is 0.07. Okay. See the modulation index is only 0.07. So how does the waveform looks? Right, in time domain as well as frequency domain. Now I am varying the value of modulation index. See just the change. Able to see that change? Able to see that change?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you see 0.6, now it is 0.8. Okay, so now it is 1. Okay, it is 100% modulation. Okay, when the value of mu is 1, it looks like this. Right? So this dotted line has shown positive envelope, but similar to that we can show negative envelope also. Clear? And even I can vary the frequency of the message signal also. Here is the option. Okay, if I vary the frequency of the message signal, how does it looks? Clear? So I can vary this message signal, and even I can do the auto this one. Okay. So you all should be able to do or develop this type of apps. Okay, to demonstrate this. You know Java, other things you are learning now, parallel to that. Huh? So it's app only. So well, it is possible to demonstrate now. Fine. So let me. Yeah, even message signal also I can do the animation. Okay. Okay, let me show just how I can vary the power also. One more, just 1 minute I will take. Power efficiency. Now, what is the next tower you have?
DSP.
Yeah, just 2 minutes. So now are you able to see? No? Able to see this screen?
No, sir.
No. I will share that. Yeah, now I think, right? Now you are able to see, na?
Yes, sir. We can.
Yeah. See here, I think, yeah. So this is the power efficiency of the AM wave. So carrier signal is there, message signal is there. This is the amplitude modulated signal, and this is in frequency domain. And here they have shown what is the carrier power, what is the sideband power, and what is the efficiency also. Okay, as of now, for these given values, this is the efficiency. Okay, so I can vary the modulation index now. By varying modulation index, I say the efficiency will increase, right? Able to see that change. So now it is 1. Okay, when the modulation index is 1, see how much you are getting efficiency as 33.3%. Right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Even I can vary message signal frequency, carrier signal frequency, but varying message signal frequency or carrier signal frequency, the efficiency will not change. Only by varying the modulation index, I will be able to change the efficiency of the system. Right? When it is 1, is 33%. So if I make it is 0.5, how much you are getting? It is 11.10%. Right? So along with this spectrum also, spectrum of that modulated signal in the frequency domain. Okay? So by varying this, if I make it is 0.25, that is 25%. Yeah, I think it is 0.2. See the modulation index, this percentage of efficiency will be 1.96% it is. Fine?
Can the modulation index be greater than 1?
Yeah, if it is greater than 1, that leads to distortion, no? Okay.
Correct.
So, but still it will show the value. See, you are substituting the value of mu, right? In that expression, it will show it is 37.7. But
So,
the
if it's overmodulated, how will the efficiency be high, sir?
no, because it is directly proportional. No, eta is equal to mu square divided by 2 plus mu square, right? So it is directly proportional. As modulation index increases, the efficiency of the system also increases. But only thing is, restriction is what?
We won't get the desired output.
Pardon?
We won't get the desired output now. So if the
you don't get desired output, there will be a distortion. That is why we don't increase the value of modulation index more than 1.
But still we say efficiency is more.
Still we say, yeah, it is directly proportional only.
Okay.
But that is not the aim, no.
Yeah.
With the distortion, if you are getting some efficiency more, what is the use? Isn't it? We wanted proper information at the receiver side, right?
Yes, sir.
So that may not be possible if the modulation index is more than 1.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Fine. So please just enter your USN in the chat box. So that is a standing instruction, okay? Every day you enter your USN in the chat box and then leave.